Hey there, it's Claudia. Welcome to or back to For the Love of Four. So I decided to try something different for a book recap that I wanted to do for the things that I read in the month of February. I still have 3 days to get the last 2 books that I'm reading done, and I'll get them done. I'm not worried about it. But I also added some books to my to-be read list. I do have mommy duties to get to, so I'm going to do this quick. Here's my mug. I know some people were asking to see my face on camera for whatever reason, but here we go. The titles and stuff is probably going to be backwards until I'm able to figure out how to mirror the video itself. I've done it before, I just don't know if I'm going to be able to this time, so I don't want to guarantee it. Jumping straight in. First book was Daughter of Smoke and Bone. I liked this book. I liked the plot of it. I liked how it was written. I'm looking forward to reading the second. However, having 4 children of my own, 2 of which who are teenagers, I would only recommend this for the older teenage, mid-older teenager, not the younger teenager. So I would not let my 13-year-old read this. However, I will let my 15-year-old read it. So that is determined on each individual parenting choice. So good book, good plot. I like the characters and I got invested in the story. The next book, nope, not that one, was this book, Court of Thorns and Roses. I love this book. I was immediately invested in the characters. I loved every single aspect of this story, and I immediately jumped into the second book, and I absolutely loved it. I recommend this. However, I do not recommend this for teenagers, even though it's a YA book. It does have explicit sex scenes in it, and so neither my 13 or 14-year-old will be reading this series. But for you adults, I love it. I finished up Volume 1 of Monstrous. I am currently halfway through Volume 2. I really like this comic. I like the whole process behind it, the thought, the plot, everything, the characters. Something truly different from what I remember reading in other comics that I own and graphic novels. So I enjoyed this. Dependent on parenting is if you'll let them read it. It does have some violence in it, so it is dependent on where you view it. It also has a same-sex relationship in it, so neither of my children are interested in this graphic novel, but it's pretty cool. I am halfway through this book. It is The Raven Boys. I don't know if it's because I'm in Court of Rose series Thorns and Roses series that I am not grasping onto it. I may put it down and start it back up in March, but so far it's an okay book. Nothing to really report about a review of who I would allow to read it out of my children because I'm not done with it. Then there is A Court of Mist and Fury. Got through this book in a day. I absolutely love this book. Again, not for teens, in my opinion. It has a lot of sex scenes in it that are very descriptive, but I love it. Switched teams super quick and fell in love with the main love interest in this book and made me want to read the third book, which I am currently in, Court of Wings and Ruin, and I am about halfway through on this one. I plan on finishing it by tomorrow. So again, sex scenes in there that are descriptive, and I would not let my teenagers read it, even though the writing and the plot is absolutely amazing. And if it wasn't for the sex scenes, I would be encouraging my children to read this book. I love how this author writes. She is now officially on my favorites list, and I went out and bought the rest of her books. So I read 1984 by George Orwell. It's a good classic. Everybody should read it. I also read The Animal Farm back in January, I believe. January 16th. This is a library's copy. I do own my own. It's on my other bookshelf. Alchemist, the illustrated Alchemist. I am halfway through, not sure I'm going to finish it this month. I will not DNF this. I will finish this book. I just don't know if I currently want to finish it. This is not a fast read. It is something that I am interested in maybe annotating. So this one is to the side, and I don't have a review on who could read it or who couldn't. I have not gotten to this book. This is going to move over to March because I got into the Court series and fell in love. So I will get into this one in March. No review. I read this book. This is a piece of crap. Did not like it. Do not recommend it. It was at the dollar store. It was thin. I wanted something thin to get my month off on a fast start. It was fast and it was horrible. Do not read it. Do not read it. Please do not read it. Basically, it's a book of affairs and cheating. Then I read this, Halo Jones, Volume 1. Not interested. Taking back the other volumes to the library. I lost interest halfway through, but finished it for finishing sake. And I don't like it. So, I don't have a recommendation either which way for who can read it, because I just didn't like it, so I didn't pay attention to the story. So, that's what I read for this month. It's a big stack, and I would love to know what you're reading. Take care, enjoy, be blessed, and happy reading. Bye.